to Tom James. Good shot! Oh, what a goal! What a goal for Tom James! Oh, that was special!
Good afternoon and welcome to Orient Live. Well, Christmas may be over, but it's time for the best day of the festive period. And the best time is Boxing Day football. And the O's have a massive League One London clash for you today as we're facing Charlton Athletic. And I'm absolutely delighted to be joined in the studio this afternoon by two ex-Orient players. And well, I've actually seen them more this Christmas than my own family. It's Glen, Wilkie and Jabo Ibehre. It's an absolute pleasure to have them in the studio. And boys, it was like only a couple of days ago that we were here watching that game against Bolton, but Boxing Day football, you can't beat it, can you?
It's always a traditional thing in my family, like many families, was Boxing Day always going to a football match, whether it be here or elsewhere. It was the time you get your Christmas Day out of the way. It was always a time to escape with the family or dad or whoever, and you get to the football. And today's like that for me, even though I get to spend it with you guys. Can't wait for the Boxing Day football, especially a London derby against... Is it the Blackwall Tunnel Derby? I don't know if I've just named that.
I think
we'll call it that.
That's a new term you've coined. I like it. So it is the Blackwall Tunnel Derby, Jabo. A 1 o'clock kick-off. I mean, you obviously retired a little less recently than Glen did, or a little more recently than Glen did. What's it like? You know, you've had your Christmas dinners the day before, early kick-off. It's a bit of a strange one today, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. As we were just talking off air before about like when they change the times and everything. I mean, I like routine. And you're so used to like the 3 o'clock kickoff, so it does kind of throw a little spanner in the works. But you know, you just have to make sure. I always thought playing games so quickly, so close to each other, I think it's just about how you prepare, what you do, how much you really eat, and your preparation prior to today's game. So I think how much Christmas dinner will tell who's had the most turkey today.
You didn't mention drinks in there.
No, I didn't drink, so it's nothing for me. But I think it's very interesting to see who drinks or who has a lot of food, and you can always see it in the sluggishness of certain players.
Sounds like you maybe used to have a couple of brandies.
No, then we used to train on Christmas Day. We used to train at the stadium, whether we played at home or away. We'd come in, spend the morning with the family, and we'd be training at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, come in for an hour or so, go through bits and pieces, and then get yourself home.
Well, it's also tradition for our chairman, Nigel Travis, to come to Boxing Day football. He did today. He was at Bolton as well. We're going to see a little clip of him now, enjoying some of the away day activities. He's looks like he's having a good time here. Glen banging his drum.
Yeah, he's no Keith Moon, but he's doing well. He's pretty speedy on the drums.
He's got rhythm, our Nigel. Well, it's a pleasure to have Nigel over today as well. Well, let's dive into the team news then. It's Leyton Orient versus Charlton Athletic, and the O's have gone with this lineup. So in goal we have our number one, Sol Brim. We believe we have a back four with Tom James at right back, Rob Hunt at left back, and Dan Happy and Omar Beckles as the two centre backs. In the midfield we have Idris El Mazouni, and partnering him is the captain Darren Pratley. In that number 10 role today is our number 22, Ethan Galbraith, and then our three attackers are Shatford, Ruel Sotiriou and Theo Archibald. And on the bench for the O's is Sam Howes, Ed Turns, Dan Ajayi, Jordan Brown, Joe Piggott, George Moncur and Max Sanders. So a couple of changes from the defeat to Bolton. A really strange game. We spent half time down in the dumps. This is shocking. This is whatever. The mood afterwards, you wouldn't have actually thought we'd lost because it was such a positive second half performance, and hopefully we can take that into today's game. Yeah,
hopefully so. Hopefully we've still got that energy, that enthusiasm, that bite that we showed in the second half, and hopefully we can start the game like that, because at the start of the Bolton game we wouldn't envisage the way it ended, and it was just a great testament to the character. But you know, we have to start fast, we have to be on the front foot today and match them for the intensity, earn the right to play, and we'll be in it today.
Well, they can't have spent too much time on the training pitch, of course, but you imagine Richie's going to be getting into him in the dressing room. In the small time he has had, he'll be making sure we don't, well, hopefully touch wood, don't start the game the same way we did against Bolton. We can't be giving teams 3-goal leads.
No, you can't be giving teams any goal leads, in the first 10 minutes, because you've worked on certain things, and then that goes out the window because your game plan changes as soon as you concede a goal. Like Jabo said, we've got to be, yes, we go disciplined and everything else, but we've got to be aggressive. We've got to get tight against their players, especially in midfield, and that's why I think Elmizuni and Pratley's come back in today. Is because they're the experienced guys. They played together pretty much all last season in that title-winning side. They know each other's games, but they're really aggressive. They get tight. They give you that bit of bite in midfield, and that's what we were lacking in that first 20, 30 minutes on Saturday away at Bolton. But they're good players as well. They've got two sides of their game. They can do the horrible, dirty, gritty stuff, but when they've got the ball, they're nice and calm, and they can play. They can set sort of attacking moves off. And with the forwards in there, which is great, that's what we need. But it's going to be a London derby. I think there could be a number of cards today. I think the crowd's going to be amazing. Both sets of supporters are going to want a big performance. I just think it's set up for a really, really good game.
It's an interesting one because we spoke about defensively, but once, as Glen said, the back four and the two midfielders have pretty much played 90% of the games last year. Then ahead of that, you've now maybe freed up Ethan Galbraith a little bit, and then three attackers as well. Hopefully, we'll see some nice free-flowing attacking football. Yeah,
hopefully so. I mean, when they've played before up front, that group, they haven't interchanged a few times. Hopefully, they can be a bit fluid today. It will pose Charlton a question, and like I said, feed the Shaq, and hopefully he does the business again.
But we think Shaq's leading the line, and he was incredible on it was Saturday, wasn't it?
Saturday, yeah.
He was incredible against Bolton in that second half, and he kind of had that drive and that impetus to take the game to Bolton despite being 3-0 down. He's got that fearlessness, hasn't he?
Yeah, and you do have that when you're young and you're coming through and you're playing your games. You're exciting. You're excited as a player as well. You're a bit more carefree. You'll shoot. You take risk, and that's what I think we need at the moment. So hopefully he's buying in with confidence from the weekend and the game before. Hopefully he can continue making that progress.
He was great on Saturday, but he played on the right of the forward line. Be interesting to see how we set up today, because the way we're looking at it, we're thinking he's going to play more down the sort of the middle. He was so good on the right because with his assist, he beats a player, he cuts the ball back. He was getting around the back of the full-back or in between the full-back and the centre-half on Saturday. So if he's playing more central, it'd be interesting to see what he's like, because it is, even though he's playing up front, it's a slightly different position, and you've got runners coming off him. So is he going to play more of a target man and the ball going into his feet, holding it up? Could be. But I like him getting the ball to feet and getting him at the full-back and go and beat him, go and create havoc.
Well, that's the thing, it's interchangeable, isn't it? Ethan Galbraith could even drift out wide, and you've then got Ruel and Shaq going through the middle. We're just assuming that he's going to be leading on. It could be anything, couldn't it?
Well, we thought we were going to play with five at the back on Saturday, and we didn't. Wish we did, but we didn't. We've got them. So if you look at Theo, you've got Ruel there, you've got Galbraith, you've got Ford. They can interchange, and there could be a lot of movement. Got a sort of good bench as well, Pickett to come on if we need him. He done well when he came on, obviously, the previous week against, who was it? Cheltenham, that was it, and he set up Ford for a goal. But yeah, they can interchange. I just don't want to see our forward players running in straight lines and being easy to defend against, because that's no good to anyone. We need to be busy. We need to be like the Red Arrows, going everywhere when we've got the ball, cause a bit of havoc in the Charlton defence today, and have some of the runners from midfield running on. You look at how Bolton was in that first sort of 10-15 minutes. They were drawing players out, and their midfielders were running on beyond and causing us problems. I'd like to see us do that, even though Elmizuni and Pratley are there. When we're attacking, one of them will probably sit. Have licence to go forward and make them runs. Don't only let it be the forwards who can do that. We just need to cause a bit of havoc and pull the Charlton defenders around.
It's been a little while since we've won here in E10 in the league, hasn't it, Jabo? Today feels like quite a good opportunity. We obviously played Charlton on the opening day, and it was our first game back in the league, and it was a tough one, and we didn't get any points. But today feels like there's quite a bit at stake. You feel like the players will be hungry for this, and after a positive 45 and after a great late win at Cheltenham, we'll want to start winning again, don't we?
Yeah, of course. I think we haven't won a league game here since October, and then we obviously won in the FA Cups against Carlisle. So I mean, we're itching for a result at home, and there's no better atmosphere to do it, especially on Boxing Day. And I think they probably would say to themselves, the Oldham manager something, the Oldham manager a good start, and I think they'll come at the traps flying, and hopefully we can score early.
Let's talk about Darren Pratley then, Glen. Richie's feels like he's bringing a bit of experience back into that midfield. We're going to see some of what he offers to the team now for an older boy. I was going to say old boy, but for an older boy, because he's probably much fitter than me still. He offers a lot to this team, doesn't he?
And especially he's playing against one of his old sides today in Charlton. He's going to he's got a point to prove, but it's just the experience. You can't sort of legislate for the experience he brings. He knows there on tackles when to dive in for the ball. Obviously not against Cheltenham, but when to go for the tackle. But the biggest thing for me is his presence within the team. Yes, he's a good player. Yes, like you say, the legs may be slowing down a bit, but the influence he has on the other players around him, it's no coincidence that Idris El Mizouni played last year in that championship winning side, and he got voted Player of the Season. Without Darren Pratley playing next to him and guiding him through games and helping him and talking to him all the time, that wouldn't have happened last year. And I don't think we would have been as successful last year as what we were if it wasn't for Darren Pratley in the side. He's phenomenal. He can pass the ball. We can see it there. But it's just his experience. When the game needs to be calmed down, he'll slow the game down. He'll talk to players. He'll talk to the younger players, just getting them to calm down a bit. When we need a bit more to be a bit more intense or a bit more aggressive, he'll G the players on. He'll get them fighting. He'll get them pushed up, get them tight. He'll really go for it. So we missed him in that first half on Saturday away at Bolton. I thought we really, really missed his influence, and I think today, going into this game, I really like the pairing of him and El Mizouni.
And there's always that extra bite coming up against a former team of yours, isn't there? He doesn't score many, but you, as a striker, I'm guessing you'd always want to score against your old team. He'll just want to get all 3 points. You'd be sure.
Yeah, 100%. It always gives you an extra lift, extra bite. I mean, often when I first went back to an old team, I didn't quite enjoy the experience, and soon after that, I loved it. And you almost become like pantomime villain in a sense, because your old fans start giving you a bit of stick. So I'm sure he'll be up for it. And if he gets the result, it'd be great. If he gets on the score sheet, it'd be even better.
Do we think if he scores, he celebrates?
No.
I think he would, and I think he'll do the finger to the Charlton supporters. Let's hope so.
I just want him to score. We can think about the celebrations later. But now, of course, it is Christmas time, and the O's have been doing some fantastic work around in the community, and they recently visited the Haven House Children's Hospice. So let's just watch a short clip about some of their work.
So we are blessed to see Leyton Orient back again. They've been supporters of us for many years now, and what's really important is the players come and see what we do. And we've had a delegation come, and they are currently, I believe, doing entertainments with the children, doing some art and crafts. So it's our yearly catch-up with Leyton Orient, where they come and see us for once, which is, because we're always at your place, it's lovely for you to come to ours. This is your away fixture here.
Christmas is a beautiful time, where people get together and do things for each other, make people smile. So us three coming here today, and us as a club, I think it's just a wonderful thing for us to even put a smile on one kid's face. That's the main thing, really.
Obviously, the word hospice, you automatically think that maybe it's negative, but to come and really see behind the scenes the positivity that is spread here is so good. And obviously, for us, it's one of the best parts of the job. So to be able to come and see what happens behind the scenes, and to see how hard people are working here for the children is really good.
To be able to come and do stuff like this is so important, and I feel very lucky and grateful that I'm able to do this with the club as well. So yeah, it's a really, really special day for myself. I'm a local girl, so Haven House has been sort of like close to home for me. My auntie did a lot of charity work for Haven House back in the day, so for me to be able to come here today is really special for me.
External partnerships are everything. we're always in need of something, and you guys have always been there to help deliver that. We can financially gain by doing bucket collections at games and things like that, but equally as important has been, particularly with Leyton Orient, they've been part of the care of the families and the children, and what they've done is they've allowed us to send children to the games who might be part of our buddies, so that would be the siblings of the children that we look after, and you guys have entertained them, looked after them, and been part of that, giving them confidence, getting them back out. So we're very lucky.
Phenomenal stuff there from the game. But now back to today's fixture, and looking ahead to the next 3 fixtures, including today's. We've got a festive ticket pass available for you to purchase for the upcoming 3 games. And what's better, you can purchase all 3 in one go. So that's today's game against Charlton, Friday night's game against Wycombe, and then New Year's Day's game against Cambridge. And of course, they are all available for UK and international fans. So if you're watching along live on social media, then just head over to the Orient website and over to the Match Centre to pick up your streaming pass. And as we said, you can pick up all 3 streams in one go and get behind the boys this festive period. But now back to Darren Pratley. We were just talking about the impact he can have on today's game. He obviously had a big impact coming on at half-time against Bolton, but we caught up with him after that match to hear his thoughts ahead of this game.
Taking that second half and probably the final 60 minutes of the game in isolation, how much can we actually take from it?
Yeah, obviously scoring 2 goals against arguably one of the best teams in the league. Some good performances from the boys out there, and a bit of character, a bit of spirit. You know, when you're 3-0 down, it's easy. I think Exeter got done 7 here, so you could go and get done 5, 6, 7. But we managed to win the second half, like I said, but go home with nothing. So we're disappointed with that.
We're in the busy Christmas period now. Charlton to come on Boxing Day, one of your former clubs. Yeah. What do we need to do well to make sure we get something from that?
First and foremost, I think get tight to them, like the second half. Don't make it easy for them, because again, they've got good players. They've got Fraser, Dobson, good players that like to play. So first and foremost, you have to win your battles and then try and play your game on top of that. But we're at home. We are very good at home. We've been good there for the last 18 months. So we'll try and get another 3 points on the board.
Brilliant stuff there from the skipper. And I know we touched on it briefly, but you look at the defence as well, and having him in front of him, Dan Happy, still fairly young for a central defender, but now in recent weeks you maybe haven't had Darren Pratley and Omar Beckles at the back, marshalling the young midfield and just organising everything. So I think all we can hope for following from Bolton, just a bit more solidity today. And you feel like Darren and Omar are going to bring that? Yeah,
100%. I mean, they were such an important foundation of the success last season. And then when Pratley came on at the weekend, you see the difference he made in the middle of the park. And I think what he will offer is the experience and the commanding and, the instructions in and around the midfield area. He sees things, he reads the game so well. So whereas I thought on Saturday when sometimes players ran off us, they didn't really track back or had someone to sort of like say, come and fill in. I think Darren Pratley will offer that today. And, with that voice and him and Beckles behind him, I think it will make us a solid back unit.
And looking at Charlton, we'll come on to them very shortly, and I know we've obviously touched on the fact that it's his former team. What are we expecting from Charlton today then? Because they've had a bit of an indifferent season, brought in Michael Appleton in September. It might be a tough one to call this, fairly balanced.
Yeah, you look, yes, they're above us in the league. I think they're 4 or 5 points above us in the league, but they've not had the season that the supporters and probably everyone else who looked at League One thought they would. People expected them to be in maybe the top 4, top 6. They've had an indifferent start to this year. They can see when I look at them, they score goals. They've got the top goal scorer in the league in Alfie May, who I think they paid £500,000 for at the beginning of the year. There's not many teams who are paying money like that for players in this division. That they've paid that. He scored, I think, 15 league goals, joint top goal scorer. But they're very good around that. They've got really key players. We'll come on to a few in a moment, but they're a solid side. And I think with Appleton coming in, he's an experienced manager. He's a bit like Richie Wellens, where he's managed in the lower divisions. He's done well at certain clubs, and it's about organisation. With every single team in any division, if you're organised and you're disciplined and you go about your job, you're going to be hard to beat. They're going to want to come here and not lose. They'll see what happened to us in that first 15 minutes on Saturday away to Bolton, and they'll try and pick holes and try and play a similar way. We've got to be better. I think we will be better. The fact that it's a London derby, the fact that it's an early kick-off on Boxing Day, and the atmosphere should be electric out there. Who knows what can happen? But I think we're in for a really good game. But I fully expect us to be much better than what we've been, start much better than what we did. And I think there's 3 points on the board for us today.
Confidence there from Glen again. He's always confident, that's why we like him. That's why we keep bringing him back. But whilst we're on the subject of the visiting team, let's take a look and see how the Addicts are going to be lining up. So in goal for Charlton is number 1, Ashley Maynard Brewer. We have number 2, Lloyd Jones. The captain, number 4, George Dobson. Number 6, Michael Hector. The goal scorer, number 9, Alfie May. Number 10, Scott Fraser. 17, Teo Eden. Number 18, Tanai Watson. 23, Corey Blackett-Taylor. 27, Chem Campbell. And 29, Daniel Carnu. And on the bench for Charlton is Sam Walker, Terrell Thomas, Tyrese Campbell, Louis Watson, Slobodan Tedic, Nathan Asimwe and Karoy Anderson. So a big fixture here in E10. Glenn just touched on it briefly there, but they've got some danger in this side. They might not be as high as people expected, but Glenn touched on Alfie May, he gets goals, but it's Corey Blackett-Taylor who's a real threat. And there's a few players that could cause us some potential problems today. Yeah, definitely. We've got to be on it. And in particular, Corey Blackett-Taylor has been at the bottom. He's just been amazing this season. He's got so many assists, a lot of goals, and he's got a really good delivery. And in fairness, Charlton are very good from set pieces. They've got good delivery, so we want to kind of reduce how many fouls we give away in and around the last third. And if we can keep him quiet today, as well as May, will be in the game. Let's take a look at what Corey can do to a team. An ex-fullback yourself, Glenn. You wouldn't have wanted to play against this man, would you? I would have loved it. I would have loved it. I like a challenge. Working with you guys, it's always a challenge. No, he's good. He's electric. He's got a trick. No, that's confidence, isn't it? Like to do that to the keeper when you're expecting to put it in. He's sort of unpredictable to play against, and that's probably the hardest thing as a defender. You think with most players, you think, right, I'm going to push him on his right foot, on his left foot, on his weaker side. With him, he goes both ways. He's got a trick. The most scariest thing about him, if I'm playing against him, is his pace. He is electrifying. And it's like, do I go tight against him and have the ball go over the top and then I get caught in a race? Do I back off and give him time to get on the ball, turn and run at me? What do you do? And you'll end up doubling up. We saw it last year with Paul Smith and with Theo at times. Other teams brought an extra player back to try and double up against him to sort of cut him out and not get him the ball going to his feet, so he can cause trouble. So it'd be very interesting how we play today to sort of try and nullify the threat with him getting the ball. As a striker, what's it like playing with a wing like that, where if he gets the ball, he can probably burn his man and put it on a plate for you? It must be great as a striker to know you've got someone like that out wide. It's fantastic, and you can see from the clips there, he doesn't hesitate. You get some wingers, when they've got the beating of someone, they try and dance, they try and overdo it, go back and chop him again. He just beats you, and his end product is there. He whips it in good areas, got good delivery, and once you get that eye line with a winger like that, you're going to be in with the goals. And when he's setting up a striker like Alfie May, which Glenn has touched on, I think it was $250,000. We'll fact check it when we're off air. But he scores goals, and if we're talking about keeping tight to your man and being solid, you can't give him a sniff, can you? Because he's a finisher. No, you can't. And again, you have to nullify the supply line, then you can nullify Alfie May. But if they're both cooking, then we're going to be up against it. So they've got someone genuinely who in this league who can score goals, and he's proving that already. So we have to be on the money today. Looking at Alfie May, I looked at the stats and he scored 15 league goals, but he's not had one assist as a forward. It's not a bad thing. That tells me when the ball goes into him in the box, he's not passing to anyone. His only thought is half a yard, can I get a shot off? Which is great. So if you're a defender playing against that, any opportunity he gets, he's just going to shoot, so you can get tight enough to him. He's not going to roll the ball off and play it around you. So you can sort of gauge it that way. Or you could say he's really greedy and he doesn't pass, and they could probably be higher in the table if he did pass it. So it's interesting, but he's certainly a very, very good goal scorer in this division. He certainly is. I'm sure he could just tell you to look at the scoring charts if you wouldn't tend to have some more assists. But It's about keeping tight, isn't it? You said it. I was going to ask what you do to nullify him. As a defender, that must be hard, though. If you get too tight, you can get pulled apart, as we did on against Bolton. So it's just going to be tough to defend. But Omar and Dan, they're experienced, strong defenders now, so they've got to be on it.
The thing is, if the ball comes into the box, you've got to be touch tight and not allow him space to get any shots off. You've got to try and get to the ball first. Outside the box, you can't be too tight, because I don't know how quick he is if he spins in and he goes out. You've got to defend properly. You can defend against any forward if you defend properly. It's about your body positioning, about your recovery runs, always looking at the ball and the man. The problem with Saturday in that first 10 minutes, a lot of us was just fixated on the ball and not watching where the space is or where the men were going, you know, and that is really poor defending. And I highlighted that when I was really angry at half-time Saturday. But if you defend properly, you get yourself in your body position in the right space, and when he's not got the ball, and you've got to know, if the ball gets played in, I can get there first, or I can get there and not give him any space. It's about defending and doing your job right.
Well, they're unbeaten in their last 5, Jabo, but you could also spin that and say they've only won one of their last 5, drawn 4. So it's an interesting one. They're probably going to be hard to beat, but we've got to go for the attack, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're at home. It's a London derby. You know, we can't say we need to win, but it'd be great to get a win and finish the year off really on a high. But like you said, they haven't won in a few games, but they've drawn a lot. So it shows that, you know, they're just happy maybe to settle for a point maybe on the road and be safe. And if we go at them, you know, and open them up, then maybe, you know, we can open the floodgates in their defence.
You know, after a positive second half against Bolton, a win today, when you've got a game on the 29th and then New Year's Day, they come so thick and fast. A win could spark, you know, if we're going to be optimistic here, it could spark 9 points in the next kind of 5 days, which would be really helpful for the O's. And
they're all winnable games. I think today's a very winnable game. Charlton, I think they're going to come, and they're really going to come at us after what they've seen our form's been like. So that will open up areas for our speedy wingers or our forwards and good play. We can win today's game comfortably. Wickham on Friday, they're having a bit of a spell at the moment. They're up and down, very inconsistent. That's a winnable game. Exactly the same as Cambridge. There's not many teams in this division who are on it week in, week out, apart from probably the top 2, top 3. So they're all winnable games. We just need to get it right today. Start aggressive, start fast, and hopefully get an early goal.
I mean, the players are getting ready in the tunnel now as well. An early goal would be lovely. And Glen, you've been quite on it with your predictions recently. You've been calling it. Which way is this one going?
I've said to a few supporters today outside, I think we'll win 2-1 today. I think Ruel and Ford are going to score. You had a quick chat with Nigel before the game, didn't you? Yes. What did he tell you? He said his audition for the drumming didn't go so well, but no. He's expecting big things. He thinks we're going to be very aggressive going forward, and yeah, hopefully 3 points are coming. Well, the players are making their way out onto the pitch. Glen's expecting aggression. All I want is 3 points for Christmas. But it's time now to hand over to our match commentary team of Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock.
Good afternoon, Merry Christmas. I hope you had a good day yesterday, and we're looking forward to what will be a very special Boxing Day London derby. It's the sort that we used to enjoy many years ago, Matt. It's a proper London derby. Charlton Athletic, I think you could say, a real mid-table team. They're 11 points off the playoffs, 11 points off the relegation places. When we lost narrowly at the Valley at the start of the season, I thought they'd be much higher than that.
Yeah, without a doubt. You look at Charlton, where they are in the league, and the fact they've drawn 8 out of their 21 games, certainly seem to be the draw specialists. Haven't really found that consistency